Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So, a rather interesting survey just came out today. Sim Guru Frost tweeted about it, saying one thing the Sims community loves to be is vocal about their feedback. So, I've been working with the dev team and the Sims brand team on creating a new survey that focuses on potential features/changes for the future of The Sims 4. There was a lot more to this survey than I expected. I found it a lot more interesting than the surveys we got in recent months, where it was pretty much the same questions being asked over and over again every other month or so. So starting at the beginning, it says, "Hello Simmers, we would love to get your input on how you are enjoying The Sims 4 and your thoughts on potential changes and or features. This survey should take about 7 minutes to complete and is 11 questions. We appreciate your time and for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for playing our game." And then it goes on to the first question, which is on game updates. Overall, how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the December game update where we fixed a large number of bugs? I find it hilarious that what updates is one of the options. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to just go for that one, whether they are just doing it for the lulz or they legit did not hear about it. But then, once we get into question 2, it gets a lot more specific. So this one is focused on relationships. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, how interested are you in these relationship features? We start off with shared experiences. Sims share repeated activities with preferred Sims, such as brunch buddies. Then we got relationship compatibility. Personal factors affect how well a Sim gets along with another. Relationship tone. Relationships have short-term states, such as furious with Sim X. More relationship types. Have new ways to define relationship dynamics, such as bromance. Shared personal history. A relationship's past impacts the present. For example, good friends who had a dramatic falling out may have a harder time reconnecting. And initiated romance. Sims outside of your household can propose marriage and ask for other relationship changes. This is already one of my favorite parts of the whole survey because I think we do need more focus on the Sims themselves this year and improvements with relationships. So I rated almost all of these things at a 10. Shared experiences, I think I put at a 9 because it's like, it sounds like events, and I guess more events would be nice, but not as important as some of the other stuff. I love how they already have the idea of bringing back the furious relationship state that was in The Sims 2, where if you did something that really made the other Sim angry, then if you went into the relationship panel, then over that other Sim, it would actually be highlighted in red, and then there would be a little timer that would go down. So it would get less red as time went on, and then after that time is just like expired, then they wouldn't be furious anymore. And while that Sim is furious with you, that Sim can be harder to socialize with, and you'll take a huge hit in relationship status. And occasionally that Sim might come over to your house to steal your newspaper or kick over your trash can. It was also possible for the amount of time that Sim to be furious would vary depending on the offense. Like, if it's a drink being thrown in their face, then it'll be for a few days. But if it's actually them being caught up in a marriage affair, then it will last a lot longer. So I think that feature alone would already do a lot to add more depth to The Sims in The Sims 4. The relationship compatibility one I find oddly ambiguous, because it says personal factors affect how well a Sim gets along with another. So does that mean the return of turn-ons and turn-offs from The Sims 2? I know I would love to see that back, and I know many others would too. So is this some oddly worded way of saying that? Or is it supposed to be something that is very different? Because I'm sure Maxis does not want to repeat every feature from The Sims ad nauseum, but I think if a feature was well loved when it first came out in whatever game, then I don't think that's inherently a problem to bring it back. I just hope that if we do get an attraction system back, it is more like The Sims 2's instead of The Sims 3's, because in The Sims 3 I just thought it was really watered down, and my Sims were pretty much just all attracted to each other, and then there was that text notification that was coming every time where it was like, I don't care what anyone else thinks, I think you're hot. It was just spammed so much, and it got so annoying. I did not like it. With more relationship types, I guess that would be okay, because now that I think about it, it is kind of funny how we got that bro trait with The Sims 4 that I think they advertised quite a bit, but then we don't have actual bromances. But I still feel like it's not really as big a solution to the lack of depth with The Sims themselves as some of the other things that I've already talked about. The shared personal history idea, I think, is another amazing one that they really should put into the game, that I think should have been in The Sims 4 from the start. I think that is really cool, where the past can basically come back to haunt you. Not in a literal sense, because we can already have that with ghosts, but in the terms of, like, yeah, with relationships possibly being affected by past events. That's so cool. Like, this would be such a great way to just push The Sims forward. Because in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 there were memories, but I think for that to have more of an effect on relationships would be really great. I also love the idea of other Sims being able to initiate relationship changes with your Sims, such as marriage, because that would make it so that things feel less one way, where it's like, wow, that other Sim really does love my Sim because they ended up proposing first. Or, for example, I have seen a mod before that makes it possible so that another Sim can ask your Sim if they want to move in with them. So I would love to see that officially be put into the game as well. However, there is one other thing that I would want to go with it, because I don't want my Sim to just accept every single thing that comes their way. I want the option of being able to accept or decline so my Sims don't suddenly get sucked into something that I don't want them to. So there's two ways they could do it. They could have it be like the chance cards or the parenting moments from Parenthood, where you do have a pop-up that comes up and pauses the game and asks you if you want to do this or not. Or you could have it so that you have a notification coming up in the text notification system that appears on the upper left corner, and then you would have a limited time to accept or decline, and if you don't do it in time, then it just automatically declines it. So then maybe that way it could be a little less intrusive. Wow, I spent a long time talking just about this part of the survey alone, but I really hope at least a couple of those features could make it into the game by the end of this year. But the next part is gameplay. So we got this first one here: design and run a resort, care for guests, manage employees, and become a 5-star resort. And the next one is vacation at a resort. Take your Sims on a splendid vacation to a luxury hotel. I don't know why these are separate options. Shouldn't they be the same thing? Because I would not want those two features to be separated into two different packs. Just what? I don't know. But then we got own a second home, buy another lot, and set up your home away from home. Absolutely love this idea. This is something that I've wanted in the game from the beginning, and ideally I would love to see this in the base game from the get-go from now on. But yeah, that could be really good. It could set up more storytelling potential. And then go on an outing. Take a group on a day trip such as a family pool day or a mountain climb. Again, this one feels like it's just adding more events. So this is, I think, maybe the one I rated the lowest out of 5 or a 6. Because I feel like, especially with family pool days and mountain climbs, well, more so the pool days, we already can do those ourselves. But mountain climbs, I would imagine those probably being rabbit holes, so I don't really care for those. And then the last one here is define your Sims lifestyle. Choose your Sims' activity level, social preferences, habits, etc. So is social preferences another way of saying they're thinking about bringing back turn-ons and turn-offs? And activity levels sounds kinda like hobbies, I'm not sure. Habits sounds a little intriguing. I guess maybe it could be like the quirks that pets can have, but different. I don't know, but that could end up being an interesting thing too. But getting back to hotels and resorts, I would like to see those return, and I know a lot of people say, oh, we should have got those with island living, but I think that would have conflicted with the theme of island living, because Island Living focused more on eco-friendly gameplay, and 5-star resorts are not really an environmentally friendly thing. So I think that would have been the complaint instead if we did get hotels with Island Living. And also, I don't think they would have had as much depth if they did return in Island Living amongst a bunch of other features. I think they would actually work really well as their own game pack. The next part is about snow activities. The Sims 4 Seasons includes snow activities such as skating in an ice rink and playing in the snow. So the features that it suggests here are ice fishing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, ice skating on a pond, cross-country skiing, mountain climbing, downhill skiing, sledding, and snowshoeing. As a Canadian who likes winter, I voted a 10 on almost all of these. Ice fishing, snowshoeing aren't really as interesting to me as the other ones, but it's kind of funny seeing this pop up because back in October I did a video where I talked about an old EA survey that mentioned the idea of a winter vacation pack that would probably have activities like these, so wow, that might actually happen. I think they could make it work so that if these activities could be done in a new world, not limited to the new world, but at least could be done there, then the new world would just have snow all the time. It'd be static. You wouldn't have the changing weather. So base game players could still enjoy it. And then if you have seasons, the weather could change. The snow could melt or whatever. So it's not like it would be a completely my first pet stuff sort of situation. One feature in particular I am curious as to how they would actually do is mountain climbing, because I instantly thought, oh no, this one would be a rabbit hole, wouldn't it? But I don't know, would they be able to have it so that we could actually see our Sims climbing the whole mountain? I guess that could be interesting. It's still not really something I'm as interested in seeing, like downhill skiing and sledding and snowboarding and snowmobiling, but yeah, I don't know. They could surprise me, I guess. Actually, it just occurred to me, it is kind of weird that cars didn't appear anywhere on the survey, yet snowmobiles did. That would be kind of hilarious slash sad if we got snowmobiles before cars. But I guess if we got bicycles before cars, which follow along the paths that our Sims already walk on foot anyways, then I guess it's not impossible. Moving on to the next part of the survey, it's simply called More, More, More. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, in which areas do you most want to have more content? Traits, skills, aspirations, off-lot careers, active careers, home-based careers, lot types, and lot traits. So with lot types and lot traits, I know I did put both of those at an 8, and even though I do want more of those, I feel like they're less important than most of the other ones in this particular list. And with the skills, I put at a 9 because I would like to see more skills. I feel like skills are one of the best aspects about The Sims 4 because we have so many of them and they have some perks as you go through each skill. So I am pretty happy with the skills that we have, even though there could always be more that would go with whatever content we may get in the future. But then all the others, oh wait, no, off-lot careers I put at a 5 because I don't really need more of those because I'm one of those players who wants the least amount of rabbit holes possible. But active careers, heck yes. That and all the other ones in this list that I did not mention yet, I put those at a 10. I did mention before, I would like to see more aspirations that are not super tied towards the newest expansion pack and just being a glorified tutorial to get you through all the new content. I would like to see more aspirations that tie into the base game. And I guess I could say the same thing about traits as well, but I feel like it is a more glaring issue with the aspirations. The next part of the survey is titled Turn It Up to 11. Which previous expansion packs or game packs would you like to receive a bit of extra polish or additional development? Select up to 3. So they just list every expansion pack and game pack that is released so far, as well as a no preference option. It was very difficult for me to select just 3. Dine Out was a very obvious pick for me because Dine Out, I've seen people complain about this all the time, that Dine Out is just very buggy. And for me, it's kind of varied. Sometimes it can be so broken that my Sims can't even get seated, and then sometimes it works perfectly smooth. So I feel like Dine Out really does need to be more smoothed out with the dining system. And then from there, I picked Island Living because I think it should have had more features in the first place, like being able to actually follow our Sims as they scuba dive underwater, and maybe even have mermaids be able to live in the dive lots, kind of like a residential lot. And other things like ukuleles and surfing, just yeah, I think there should have been more. And then I was torn between choosing Get to Work and Realm of Magic as my third. Because with Get to Work, I would like home businesses. And with Realm of Magic, I think we should have had more spells, especially ones that work with different packs. Like, say, if we had a spell to instantly turn your Sims famous if you own Get Famous. So in the end, I did go with Get to Work because I think I would like home businesses just a little bit more, because for me personally, I can use mods. There's already some custom spells out there that fill in the gaps that I feel are there. There's also another question below. What improvements would make it easier for you to create the Sims you want? I'm surprised this is just an open-ended question instead of having some specific options, but there's definitely some things that they could do. Like, it would be cool if we had more relationship options that we could also set up through Create a Sim. So maybe you could even have things like bromance, but also being able to set up boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'm sure there are other ones, I just can't think of them at the moment. And of course, body hair, I already joked about that on Twitter. I really want body hair in the game. And yes, I'm well aware that we've had custom content body hair for years now, but I want it in the game officially instead of relying on custom content for it. And then maybe the body hair could have its own separate section, so it's not just tattoo slots in Create a Sim. And I would like to see more skin tone colors, both realistic and fantasy. Of course, I did suggest turn-ons and turn-offs if that wasn't something they were suggesting earlier on. And I also put in favorites, as in favorite musics, favorite food, favorite movies, that sort of stuff. And I also put in more types of piercings, like septum piercings for the nose, because we didn't really get those in Discovery University. And I also put individual biographies, because we were able to do that in The Sims 1, because we can put a biography that applies to the entire household, but not per Sim. So it's a minor feature, I guess, but it's just something that I think would make our Sims stand out a bit more individually, especially if it was nicely presented with something like the scrapbook in The Sims 3. And I would also like to see saved outfits. It would help because then maybe I could come up with an outfit that I like, but it's not ideal for the Sim that I'm currently making, so then I just save it for later. We have styled looks in the game, so why can't we make our own? The next part is popularity contest. Who is your fave? Select up to 3 of your most loved characters or households from The Sims. So I went with Bella Goth, Freezer Bunny, and the Pancakes family. Just where the heck were the newbies on this list? I would have checked them off, but oh well. I'm surprised that Llama is on there because I'm not sure what that refers to. Probably the llama mascots that were in some of the previous university packs, but I don't know. I would love to see llamas as animals that our Sims could own in a farming pack, but that's obviously not what this is about. The next question asks, what brands would you like the Sims to collaborate with? I was a bit tempted to put none, because I feel more often than not the branded packs turn out to be disappointing, especially in light of the Moschino stuff pack. But if they did put in some brands that are relatable to a wider audience, like say Disney, I think that could go over a lot better. I also wouldn't mind a crossover with a comic book company like Marvel or DC Comics, and I would love to see video game crossovers with The Sims, because they did that with Plants vs. Zombies in The Sims 3, and I thought that was a cool extra. So I would love to see them do something with Nintendo, because I think it would be really cool to have Nintendo-themed bedrooms that are maybe like Super Mario Brothers or Legend of Zelda, or just like any of the many franchises that Nintendo has. And of course I gotta mention Sonic the Hedgehog, because if my two favorite video game franchises of all time did a collaboration, my hype would be off the charts. And then we got one last question. It's a pretty simple one. How satisfied or dissatisfied are you overall with The Sims 4? Very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, neither satisfied nor dissatisfied, somewhat dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. And that takes us to the end of the survey. So overall, I would love to see more surveys like this in the future. I know it is not really as open-ended because I think some people might not like this, but I like this a bit better because it does clue us in a bit more as to what they're considering doing for The Sims 4 in the near future. And with The Sims in particular, this is a game about life, so there's so many things that The Sims could still do that it hasn't done yet. So if they just simply did a one-question survey where it's just say what you want in The Sims 4, there could be so many things, and then it just gets so hard to narrow down what is the most wanted. So I think I do prefer this, where they do give us some set questions and features that they're thinking about, and it's just like, oh, how interested would you be in those features? And if some of those are not liked, then it's back to the drawing board and thinking of other things. So yeah, I think it's good to gauge interest on some very specific features. And then we still got a couple of more open-ended questions anyways, like the brands. But yeah, it's good that at least most of it was very specific. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So I will leave a link in the video description to go and do this survey. I strongly suggest you do it because then you can make your voice heard, and hopefully at least some of the things that appeared on the survey will appear in the game, whether it's this year or it's a bit later into the future. And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!